In a village named Vasantpur, nestled among the rolling hills, lived Arvind and Priya, a young couple whose life seemed perfect to the outside world. Arvind, the proud son of a prominent farmer, had inherited his father's fields, and he worked tirelessly from dawn till dusk, ensuring the crops flourished. Priya, his wife, was the quiet backbone of their home, managing everything within the four walls, while Arvind focused on his work. But despite the outward tranquility, things were not as harmonious as they appeared. Arvind, like many men in the village, believed that his role was to provide for the family, and that Priya's role was to care for the household. While he worked hard in the fields, Priya worked just as hard at home, cooking, cleaning, taking care of their two children, and making sure everything ran smoothly. Yet, Arvind couldn't understand why Priya sometimes seemed so distant, even though she never complained. He thought she was content, fulfilling her duties as a wife and mother. However, deep inside, Priya was feeling a quiet but growing dissatisfaction. She had given up her dreams, her aspirations, and her individuality for the sake of her family. She had submerged herself in the role of a wife and mother, but in doing so, she had lost her sense of self. One day, after a long week of hard work in the fields, Arvind came home to find the house unusually quiet. Priya was nowhere to be seen. Their children, usually bubbling with energy, were sitting in the corner, silently playing. Arvind felt a knot in his stomach. Priya never left without informing him, and something about the stillness in the house felt wrong. He went to the kitchen, the heart of their home, but it was eerily empty. The smell of freshly baked bread, which usually greeted him as soon as he stepped inside, was absent. Confused, he stepped outside, hoping to find her in the garden, but she wasn't there either. Panic began to rise in him. Finally, he heard a soft sound, like a rustling in the nearby forest. Arvind walked toward the noise and found Priya sitting by the riverbank, her face buried in her hands, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. "Priya!" Arvind called out, rushing toward her. She looked up, her eyes swollen from crying. "Arvind, I can't do this anymore," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I feel like I'm drowning. I've been carrying this weight alone for so long, trying to keep everything perfect, but no one sees it. No one acknowledges it. You never do." Arvind's heart sank. He had always thought that Priya was content. He had never seen how much she was carrying, how silently she was struggling to keep the family afloat. He had been so focused on his own work, his own achievements, that he hadn't noticed the cracks in their home. Cracks caused by the emotional labor Priya had been silently shouldering for years. "I don't understand," Arvind said, sitting down beside her. "You've never said anything. You've always been there, always keeping things together. Why didn't you tell me?" Priya let out a long sigh, her eyes filled with years of unspoken pain. "Because I thought it was my duty, Arvind. I thought this was what I had to do for the family. I never realized that I was losing myself in the process." Arvind sat in stunned silence, the weight of her words hitting him like a ton of bricks. He had always seen Priya as the silent strength of the house, but now he understood that true strength wasn't just in doing. It was in being seen, in being valued. Priya continued, her voice soft but resolute. "I am your wife, Arvind, but I am also a person with dreams, with desires, with needs. I need to feel that what I do matters. I need to know that you see me, not just as the caretaker of this house, but as the woman who brought life into this home." Arvind's heart was heavy with guilt. He had always been the provider, the protector. But now, he saw how much Priya had sacrificed for the sake of the family. The weight of her unacknowledged labor had finally taken its toll. "I'm sorry, Priya," he whispered. "I've been blind. I see now that the home isn't just about the fields and the food. It's about the love and effort we both put into it. I promise you I'll change. We'll carry this burden together. Priya looked at him, a glimmer of hope returning to her eyes. It's not about the burden, Arvind. It's about partnership. It's about respect and love, not just for each other, but for ourselves. We build this home together with everything we have. Arvind took her hand in his voice filled with sincerity. From this day forward, I will never take you for granted again. We will share everything together. The two sat by the river for hours, talking, reflecting, and healing. And as they walked back home, side by side, something had shifted. Their home was still full of work, of responsibilities, but now it was filled with balance and respect. Moral of the story: the true essence of a home is not just in the physical labor, but in the emotional and mental strength that both partners bring to it. A wife, especially in traditional roles, often bears unseen burdens. The heart of the home is not just built by the walls, but by the shared love, respect, and effort between a husband and wife. A family thrives when both individuals are seen, heard, and valued.